The family dinner table had always been my personal torture chamber. Tonight was no different, with Mom's passive-aggressive comments competing with Dad's dismissive sighs and my brother Mark's smug superiority. "Still doing that internet thing?" Mark smirked, cutting into his expensive steak, paid for with his real job salary as a mid-level banker. "What was it again? Some kind of online shop?" I took a sip of wine, hiding my smile. My little online shop had processed more transactions in the past hour than his bank handled in a month. "E-commerce," I corrected, checking my phone discreetly as another notification popped up. "Final IPO valuation confirmed, $4.8 billion. NYC opening bell ceremony, tomorrow 9 a.m. Times Square display test successful. Forbes interview scheduled." "Sarah dear," Mom sighed, arranging her silverware just so. "I ran into Linda Thompson at the club. Her daughter's firm is hiring entry-level positions. Something stable with benefits." If only she knew that Linda Thompson's daughter had been desperately trying to get a job at my company for months. "I'm good with my current work, Mom." "Good." Dad scoffed. "Living in that tiny apartment working from coffee shops? That's not good, that's surviving." The tiny apartment was actually a $12 million penthouse I'd bought through an LLC. The coffee shops were my satellite offices, designed to keep my operation under the radar until tonight. Speaking of success, Mark cut in, straightening his off-the-rack suit that he thought looked designer. "I just closed a major deal at the bank. Private equity acquisition, very hush-hush." I bit back a laugh, knowing my company had actually facilitated that deal's payment processing. Mark's major deal was a rounding error in my daily transactions. My phone buzzed again. Wall Street Journal front page confirmed. CNBC interview tomorrow at 10 a.m. Times Square billboard final check complete. Bloomberg profile ready. "Sarah," Dad leaned forward using his concerned parent voice, "you're not getting any younger. This hobby of yours." "Actually," I interrupted, checking my watch, "let's turn on the financial news. Something interesting might be coming up." "Financial news?" Mom wrinkled her nose. "Dear, since when do you follow stocks?" "Since I was about to become one of the most talked about CEOs in tech, but they'd find that out in about 3 minutes." "Trust me," I smiled, reaching for the remote and turning to CNBC. "Breaking news," the anchor announced. "In what's being called the biggest tech IPO of the year, Phoenix Digital is set to go public tomorrow with an initial valuation of $4.8 billion. The e-commerce platform founded by Sarah Phoenix." The sound of Mark choking on his wine was almost as satisfying as watching Dad's fork clatter against his plate. That's not." Mom stammered, staring at the screen where my company logo now filled the background. "Hold on," I held up a finger, typing quickly on my phone. "Just need to approve something." Seconds later, the anchor continued. "And in a spectacular display, Phoenix Digital's logo is now lighting up Times Square, marking what analysts are calling a transformative moment in e-commerce history." Dad's face had gone from red to white. "Sarah, what did you do?" "Built a multi-billion-dollar company," I replied calmly, "while you were all mocking my little website." My phone erupted with notifications. Stock market analysts predicting 30% pop at opening. Tech media requesting interviews. Competitor valuations adjusting. Mom's social circle starting to text. But you work from coffee shops," Mark sputtered, his banking ego visibly deflating. "Those aren't coffee shops," I explained, enjoying his confusion. "They're my distributed office network. Turns out you can build an empire without flashy headquarters. At least until tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" Mom's voice was faint. "When we officially open our new global headquarters," I confirmed. "That mysterious skyscraper downtown you've all been wondering about? The one with the Phoenix Rising logo? Surprise." Dad was still staring at the TV, watching financial analysts dissect my company's meteoric rise. "The valuation, those numbers, are actually conservative," I finished. "We're expecting a significant pop when trading begins. Speaking of which," I pulled out an envelope, sliding it across the table. "Your investment opportunity expired last year when you told me to get a real job. But I did save you something." They opened the envelope with shaking hands, finding a single share certificate each. So you can say you own a piece of my little website, I smiled. Though Mark might want to check his bank's investment strategy. They missed out on our pre-IPO round. Shame. My phone buzzed again. Times Square crowds gathering. Social media exploding with IPO news. Mom's country club group chat blowing up. Mark's bank CEO requesting meeting. I should go, I stood gathering my things. Big day tomorrow. Opening bell doesn't ring itself. Sarah, Mom called weakly, why didn't you tell us? I paused at the door thinking of all the dinners like this one, all the dismissive comments, all the concerned suggestions about real jobs. I did tell you, I replied. You just didn't listen. But don't worry, tomorrow my success will be too loud to ignore. I left them sitting there, their expensive dinner growing cold as their phones exploded with messages. Outside, my driver waited with the Bentley I'd never shown them. To Times Square, he asked. Yes, I smiled, watching my company's logo light up the New York skyline. It's time to show everyone what playing with my little website really means. The morning of my IPO dawned clear and crisp, perfect weather for making history. I stood in my penthouse dressing room, watching my team of stylists create the image of a tech CEO, powerful but approachable, successful but relatable. Your brother's called 6 times, my assistant reported, scrolling through messages. Your mother's up to 12 and your father's trying to get through the building's security. How's he enjoying our visitor management system? I asked, knowing Dad would hate having to wait in line like everyone else. He's on his 4th attempt to convince security he's family of the CEO. I smiled, adjusting my Brunello Cucinelli blazer. The kind of subtle luxury that spoke of success without screaming it. And how's that working out? About as well as his attempt to get into the pre-IPO party last night. My phone lit up with its morning symphony. Stock market analysts predicting 40% opening pop. Times Square crowds already gathering. Family office requests all declined. Mark's bank desperately seeking meeting. Miss Phoenix, my assistant called. CNBC is set up in the lobby. Bloomberg in the trading floor. Forbes in your office and my mother's social circle is blowing up her phone. I finished checking the social media feeds. How many country club members have suddenly remembered they have a close family connection to Phoenix Digital? 43 and counting. Your mother's bridge partner is claiming she practically raised you. I laughed, remembering how that same woman had told Mom to guide me toward a real career just last month. The intercom buzzed. Miss Phoenix? Your brother's in the lobby, insisting he has insider information about the IPO. Send him up, I decided. It's time Mark learned what real finance looks like. The private elevator delivered him to my executive floor. All 20,000 square feet of success he'd never seen coming. His eyes widened at the wall of screens showing real-time transaction data, global operations centers and market analytics. Sarah, he managed, his banker's swagger notably diminished. Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped with the IPO, gotten you a better deal through my bank. You mean the bank that passed on our Series C funding? I pulled up the records. The one where you personally told the investment committee that e-commerce was oversaturated? My phone buzzed continuously. Opening bell ceremony in 90 minutes. Stock demand exceeding all projections. Family attempts to access VIP area blocked. Mom's social media flooding with proud family posts. Look, Mark tried again, straightening his tie, still off the rack, I noticed. Water under the bridge. As your brother, I think we should discuss family involvement in the company. My experience in banking won't be needed, I cut him off, pulling up more screens. See these numbers? That's our daily transaction volume. More than your entire bank processes in a month. Our global market penetration. And this. I pointed to a particularly impressive chart. That's why every major financial institution except yours invested in our pre-IPO rounds. But you worked from coffee shops, he sputtered. All those times I saw you with your laptop. Were me building this, I gestured around us. Every dismissive comment, every mocking laugh, just gave me more motivation to succeed in silence. The intercom crackled again. Miss Phoenix? Your parents are both in the lobby now. Your father's threatening to call his lawyer. His lawyer? I laughed. You mean Stanley? He's on our board now. Dad might want to find new representation. Mark's face paled as the implications sank in. The family connections mean nothing in my world, I confirmed. Merit, Mark. Pure merit. Something our family never quite understood. My phone lit up again. Stock market opening in 60 minutes. Global press awaiting CEO arrival. Family social media posts reaching viral levels. Mark's bank stock dropping on missed opportunity news. You should go, I told him, checking my reflection one last time. The trading floor is about to get very busy, and your visitor pass expires in 2 minutes. Sarah, please. He tried one last time. Think about the family. My reputation at the bank. Should have thought about that when you called my company a cute little website at Christmas, I smiled. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a bell to ring. I left him standing there, surrounded by evidence of the success he'd been too arrogant to see coming. Outside, my executive team waited to escort me to the New York Stock Exchange. Your mother's posted 7 times about her entrepreneur daughter, my assistant reported as we rode down. Should we release the video of her calling it a hobby last week? No need, I replied, watching the city wake up to my new reality. Success is the best revenge, especially when it's measured in billions. The opening bell ceremony was everything I'd dreamed of and nothing like my family had expected. Standing on the NYSE podium, surrounded by global media, I couldn't help but think of all the family dinners where they dismissed my internet hobby. Phoenix Digital opens at $87, up 74% from IPO price. The screens blazed. My personal net worth had just crossed $2.8 billion, not that anyone at home would believe it. Your mother's on her 6th morning show call, my assistant whispered. Apparently she's positioning herself as your greatest supporter and inspiration. Interesting revision of history, I murmured, watching our stock tick higher. Any word from Dad's country club? They've called 4 times offering you honorary lifetime membership. Should I send them the security footage of them denying you entry last month? My phone buzzed with delicious irony. Stock now up 82%. Family seeking premium interview payments. Mark's bank CEO personally apologizing. Mom's social circle imploding with jealousy. Miss Phoenix. A CNBC reporter approached. Your brother Mark is giving interviews claiming he was an early advisor to the company. I smiled, pulling up a file on my phone. Release package B, I told my PR team. The one with the video of him calling us a waste of server space, at Thanksgiving. The trading floor erupted as our stock jumped again. Somewhere in his mid-level banking office, Mark was about to learn why burning bridges with a tech CEO sister was bad for business. Your father's trying a new approach, my assistant reported. He's now claiming he secretly supported you all along. Should we release the rejection letter he sent to our first investor meeting? Save it, I decided, watching the numbers climb. His colleagues are about to learn enough about his support when they read tomorrow's Wall Street Journal profile. The intercom buzzed. Miss Phoenix? The Four Seasons says your mother's attempting to book your usual penthouse suite for her social club meeting. On her usual credit card? I asked, already knowing the answer. The one tied to Dad's now struggling consulting firm. Yes. Should we mention you bought the hotel last month? Let them find out at check-in, I smiled, watching another stock price alert flash across the screens. My phone lit up continuously. Personal net worth passing $3 billion. Family social media claims being fact-checked. Mark's bank clients requesting transfers. Mom's country club status imploding. A commotion near the trading floor entrance caught my attention. Dad had somehow talked his way past the first security checkpoint. Your daughter, he was saying to anyone who'd listen. I taught her everything she knows about business. Release the footage, I instructed my team. Seconds later, the trading floor's massive screens played his greatest hits. That internet thing is a waste of time. No daughter of mine will succeed in tech. Real business happens in offices, not on computers. The silence was devastating. Dad stood frozen, watching his words echo across the global financial center. His face matched our stock's color scheme, bright red. Mr. Richardson? Security approached. Your daughter has declined your request for a floor pass. Please exit through the visitor center. My phone buzzed again. Dad's client list circulating internal memo. Family club memberships under review. Mark's Bank launching internal investigation. Mom's social media accounts being fact-checked. They're all at the hotel now, my assistant reported. Your mother's trying to host an emergency family celebration in the presidential suite. The one I'm living in? I asked amused. While my tiny apartment gets renovated? Yes. Should I have the hotel manager explain the ownership situation? Let them get all the way to the door, I decided. Sometimes lessons need a proper build-up. The trading day was ending, and Phoenix Digital had shattered every expectation. My little website had just become one of the most successful tech IPOs in history. Final numbers coming in, my CFO reported. We're closing at $142, up 184%. Your real-time net worth is more than they'll ever see, I finished watching the closing bell ceremony approach. How's Mark's Bank stock doing? Down 12% on news they passed on early investment opportunities in Phoenix Digital. My phone lit up one last time. Family attempting to book private jet denied. Social media crushing family claims. Mark's Bank launching damage control. Mom's social status officially in free fall. I stood at the window of the NYC, watching the city light up with my company's success. Below, Times Square blazed with the Phoenix Digital logo, a beacon of triumph over every dismissive comment, every mocking laugh, every concerned suggestion about real jobs. Your mother's latest post just went viral, my assistant noted. I always believed in my daughter's vision. Accompanied by a photo from last Christmas where she's clearly rolling her eyes at your laptop. Perfect, I smiled, watching our end-of-day numbers settle. Sometimes success isn't just about proving them wrong, it's about letting them prove it themselves. The most satisfying text came at midnight from my childhood best friend Emma. She sent a screenshot of my mom's desperate attempts to join the board of the country club that had just named their new tech wing after me. Remember when she said websites were for kids? Emma wrote. Now she's telling everyone she taught you coding, face with tears of joy. Status update, my assistant messaged. Your brother's bank just lost the Thompson account. They switched to us for payment processing. Apparently, being the bank that passed on Phoenix Digital isn't great for client confidence. I clicked through the security feed of my father still trying to talk his way into my building. The same building where 6 months ago he told me I was wasting my potential on computer games. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's watching them desperately try to claim credit for the success they never believed in.